Hello and welcome back. My name is Erin L. Ferguson, and this is the second day of my vlog series about creating the art for a 2D video game. If you watched yesterday's video, then you're already sort of familiar with the project, and if not, I'll go ahead and I'll link that first video in the description below. But today I wanted to show rocks and trees, which doesn't sound very exciting. But there's actually a lot more that goes into it than you would think, especially if your rocks and trees are forageable items like ours are, being able to cut down a tree and pick up the logs and use the logs to make something else. Same thing with rocks, being able to break rocks, gather stone, and use it for other things. So I'm going to start out just by showing a montage just of kind of my workflow so you can see what all goes into it. And then after that, I'm actually going to show you a little bit of gameplay so you can see it in action. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to my screen, and I will be back in just a second. Okay, rocks and trees. On the surface, if somebody told you to draw some rocks and trees for a game, that doesn't sound like a very tall order, like you would draw a few rocks, draw a few trees, and that would be it. But it turns out, this is my first time making a game of any kind, and so this was a huge learning curve, but there's a lot more to it than that. So for example, if you want to be able to chop down your tree, that you can't just draw a tree, you have to draw it in two parts, so that way when you chop it down, the top falls off but you're left with a stump. So each tree has to be divided in two parts. And if you want your tree to be able to grow back, you've got to be able to have intermediate stages. So I had to have sprites for the sapling, a medium sapling and a large sapling that can grow into a larger tree. And once you've chopped down that tree, you've got to have a sprite for the log. And if you want to put that log in your inventory, you've got to have an icon that will go in your inventory. And you have to have animation. So when you've actually struck your tree or struck your rock, there has to be a visual indicator to the player that you've struck it. And when you break it, there has to be a visual indicator to the player that you've broken it. So if you break a rock, it has to burst into pieces. And if you break a stump, it's got to burst into logs. So there's a lot more that goes into it than you would originally think. And here in just a second, I'm going to go ahead and show you the gameplay so you can see it in action. Okay, here we go. So I have Unity open now, which is where we've created our game. It's a free software. You can download it from the internet. We really like free stuff, like any, sane American. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start a new file. My name is Erin, and I'm going to be female because I am female, and I find that very relatable. So let's start. Okay, so here we go. So we've started a new game, and here I am in my sad little castle. As you can see, I've only made a few furnishings. Like I made the tiles for the floor, so there's a wood floor and there are, rock walls. And I made this bed which you can sleep in and save your game. And here's a chest where you can actually store stuff and where I will be storing stuff because you can only carry so much. But other than that, there aren't even windows in here. Like it's pretty sad. I will be making a few windows and a few more things. But okay, here we go. So I'm outside of my castle, and as you can see, it is super overgrown. I don't even think I can get through here. I'm gonna have to chop some of these down. But over here you can see there's Garth. This is real Garth, and this is stand-in Garth. So this is real Garth. We really like him. And this one, we're just using his character model. He's just standing in as a shopkeeper right now while we were perfecting the shopping system. And I say we, like I actually did anything, but I didn't do anything. Like I said, I just draw this stuff, and my brother makes it work. He did the shopping system. He's designed all of this stuff. I draw it, he makes it work. Okay, so let's go ahead and chop some trees down. So down here at the bottom, you can see my inventory. And I think tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and show crops. So I've got like a hoe here and a watering can and some corn seeds and some potato seeds, and I'm just going to save that for tomorrow. It's pretty cool, but today we're just going to do rocks and trees. So we're going to be pretty much focusing on this axe and this, what do you call that? Pickaxe. Axe and a pickaxe. Okay, so let's go ahead and chop down a tree. And you will notice that there is no sound yet. No music or sound effects, and sound does add a lot, and it will be coming, but at the moment it's just quiet, so use your imagination. And I'm going to go ahead and chop down this tree, and I would really like you to appreciate this tiny little spray of wood chips every time I hit this stump, because I had to animate that frame by frame, and it was super tedious. Same thing when I finally destroy the stump and it bursts into pieces, like it will here in just a second. I also animated that frame by frame, and I would really like you to appreciate it because it's tedious, but it does add a lot. Oh, did you see that? Yeah, that was cool. Okay, so there we go. I've just chopped down a couple of trees, and you saw me pick up the logs, and now here they are in my inventory. I had to make these little 32 pixel icons to correspond with all the items you can pick up. And let's go ahead and hit this rock too. Again, no sound, but it does. Everything works. Let's get this big guy right here. I'm gonna chop it. Yeah, it actually is super satisfying, in case you were wondering, just to chop this stuff. Oh, and as you can see now, I am not picking up any more rocks because I am carrying all the weight I can carry. At the moment, there isn't really a good visual indicator to show that you've maxed out the amount of weight you can carry. We're thinking of maybe putting a bar or some other, visual symbol to show when you're carrying as much weight as you can. But at the moment, about 4 logs and 2 rocks is all I can carry, which is actually fairly realistic. I am not very strong. And so 4 logs is about the max I think that I could carry. So I'm going to come in here and store some of this stuff in my chest here so I can pick up more. But the reason for this, of you having a weight limit, is basically to make you more vulnerable. So you can't just carry the forest with you. Like, you've got to put it places. You're going to have carts to help you carry more. There will be storage houses. There will be more, chests that you can put stuff in. But once your items are external, you're much more vulnerable to having them stolen, by bandits or robbers or whatever. So if you've got to transport, I just fainted. I see my green, side note, there's a green energy bar up here, which I never pay attention to. I just fainted. It's the next morning now, that's why it's kind of dark. But anyway, so if the stuff you're carrying is external, other people can steal it. And so if you've got to transport a bunch of logs and rocks and things over across your kingdom to build something, it's possible that you will be ambushed on the way. So it just adds kind of a fun element of gameplay. And that is we're still, again, as if I'm doing anything, we're still perfecting that, figuring out how much you should be able to carry so you can actually make progress. But not so much that you aren't forced to store stuff. So it's finding the balance between fun and challenging, basically. But at the moment, it's fairly low so that we can make sure everything's working. Okay, I'm gonna jump over here because I just really want to chop down one of these big trees. And this might take a while. Oh no, I just fainted again. Okay, we're awake. Get up. No rest for the weary. Chop. And all this stuff that I'm gathering can be used to make other things, and I think I will be showing that later this week, or at least soon, because all of these logs and stones can be used to build new buildings or more chests, so you actually have places to stick stuff. And I don't think I'll show that today, just trying to keep this video a watchable length, but just know that this is not all pointless. Okay, everybody, I think that's about it for today. I will be back again tomorrow with another video. If you like this series, feel free to subscribe, and you can watch us as we create this game. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's Erin L. Ferguson, and there I post not only artwork for this game, but also just other illustration work in general. Until tomorrow, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.